What's up, guys? My name is Akadeli. I am the professional idiot, and usually I'm a comedian and just generally somebody with a fun nature on YouTube. However, recently I saw something on the internet that, let's just say, I was not going to let slide. I have seen this post of a very disturbing video from Vegan News. The title is 4-H is a terrorist organization and child abuse. I was very unsure how to react. Anger was one of the first ones that came to my list, but I've called it back to try to make something a little more comprehensive for the purposes of this video. The reason why I find this very idea that such a video would be made ever is completely despicable. I was in 4-H for 9 years, and put quite simply, without 4-H, I would not be the person I am today. 4-H literally was most of my childhood and my teen years. 4-H is something that I've been part of for nearly a decade, and even though I left years ago, there are so many things that I learned in 4-H that, and the attitude that was in there that shaped the whole person I am. I'm not going to go into this too much right away, because I wanted to show you guys the video first, but I'm going to say it right off the bat. To this guy that made the video, seriously, this guy is nothing but a complete giant. Okay, now it's time to watch the video. This is my first time watching it all the way through. I have not watched it all the way through yet because just the very title of it got me angry enough for days. I'm gonna try to keep it together watching this, but don't expect the normal fluffiness of this because this is way too insulting and this is way too dangerous against a very good organization that this video doesn't need to be ignored, because if stuff like this exists, action needs to be taken against it. This is the video.
Let's talk about 4-H. What do you think, Jerry? Want to talk about 4-H?
Need an answer.
4-H is a terrorist organization, and this video is going to show you why. 4-H is a program put on by the FFA, the Future Farmers of America. What 4-H does
And the Department of Agriculture
washes children into losing their compassion for animals.
Wait, hold on a second. Brainwashing children to lose compassion for animals. You have to go to the county fair just one time, look at how well these kids take care of their animals. They take better care of their animals than they do of themselves. These kids take better care of their animals than they take care of themselves sometimes. If it comes between taking care of their animals and taking care of themselves, their animals come first. Just go to the county fair. The county fair this year already ended. Next year, go to any 4-H related county fair. Look at how well the animals are taken care of. Talk to them, and you'll see how full of this guy is already.
It makes them see animals as an object instead of an individual. This starts early on in the process. One of the things they do is when they first get their project, which oftentimes is actually loaned out through 4-H under a 12.
Let's see. Okay, that all makes sense. Yes, because 4-H is also put on by the Department of Agriculture, and is a government-funded organization. And given that we're doing the livestock, yeah, this stuff kind of needs to be in there. Yes.
$100 loan. It can be more or less depending on the animal, but on average, it's a $1,200 loan that 4-H has their parents take out and must be repaid, or it would hurt them in their credit score and they would have a debt. So it makes it so that that animal has to be sold at the end to get that money back, so that their parents do not end up in a financial hardship. It's 4-H's little guarantee policy that even if that child doesn't fall for the brainwashing during the entire process of raising their animal, at the very end they've got a gotcha that their parents have to abide by unless they've got the $1,200 to lose. It's insidious, it's disgusting, and it's disheartening. It turns compassionate hearts into rock-hardened stone. You can see how proud they are of these animals they've bonded with, they've named them. And early on, one of the things that 4-H and the FFA teaches is it makes them go through and point out the cuts of meat on the animals they've named and are loving. And
yes, because this is one of the things that I don't think this guy understands. 4-H started out as an agricultural program. The whole thing was about raising animals from the start. I was literally the first club in 4-H was started as a farm and animal raising thing. That's why they're telling you this. It's literally the entire roots of 4-H. I'm not.
They do this constantly and consistently. Children all across the United States spend entire summers raising an animal from a baby all the way up to slaughter weight, and during that time they bond with them heavily. And this is purposely done. They want to create that bond with these children and these animals, and then they want to insidiously break it in the most heartbreaking, horrifying way they can. This is what creates serial killers. If you've done...
Wait, create serial killers? What the...
Oh, hell no!
What the hell? Teaching kids to raise animals turns you into a serial killer? Hang on. That means every kid who's ever worked on a farm ever is a serial killer.
Wrong!
First of all, just the structure of the logic itself, that this false equivalency and false scale of equivalency logic already tears the guy's entire argument apart. I'm going to try to hold off my other comments for now, but what the heck? This guy, I think this guy is completely nuts. Like, actually medically insane.
Any kind of research into serial killers or sociopaths or psychopaths and how they become that way, this is exactly what happens in their childhood. Things that should have been compassionate and loving instances in their household, in their families, in their relationships, something went wrong and it got broken. This is the exact same tactic that they are using in 4-H and the FFA to create people who will not see them as individuals, but as objects, as profits, as margins, as weights on a piece of paper, part of the 150 billion murdered a year. During this time, the children are taught how to take care of the animals, but they are not taught how to take care of the animals in the correct way.
Pause. Okay, I seriously think this guy is completely insane, and the gay makeup is not making me sympathetic to you at all. Okay, that fact that makeup really does not match the shirt. First of all, I'm not even sure what is this guy thinking of. Trying to think, you know, like the way the kids in there and they send out to slaughter, and that turns out into serial killers. Purely from my limited knowledge of human psychology and what happens when human psychology goes wrong, this is not something that would trigger a serial killer. What the oh, you're insane. You're completely, totally insane. Okay, I'm gonna shut up and just try to watch the rest of the video without pausing, but don't give me any guarantees that I'm not gonna be very, very upset.
They're taught how to take care of the animals in the way that will make them the most profitable for the companies, for the industry in the end. Throughout the program, the children are constantly reminded that they're going to make some money off of this project, that they'll have to spend and get whatever they want. They constantly drill into them that these unique individuals that have their own lives and their own thoughts and their own emotional bonds, both to their person and the person has to them, they're constantly reminded that they will get a monetary reward if they follow through on all the steps, on all the things that they are supposed to do. And in fact, one of the things that they are taught in 4-H is to think about what they would like to get with that money, or what that money means for them when they get to that end point. In the end, all the children go to their local state fair. They all put their animals on display. They show their animals. And in this competition, a winner is chosen based on which animal is worth the most money, based on flesh, fur, skin, and the ability to breed other larger animals from them. One of the defenses often used by 4-H against animal rights and ending these practices is that it's helping create future farmers. Well, how about you encourage children to create gardens? How about you encourage them to grow the best type of vegetables, the best strains of vegetables? New animal ag is destroying the world, it's destroying our bodies, and it's destroying, most importantly, 4,000 animal lives a second. To watch these children cry and be destroyed and broken as their friends are taken from them and go off to be murdered for nothing but a few dollars. Their compensation for losing their friend, losing their innocence, losing their compassion, and there's part of their soul is a new Xbox or a new snowboard or a new iPhone. Their friend that they were just taught was an object gets turned into another object for them. And then they get to do it the next summer. And every summer it gets a little easier until they don't care anymore. And they don't think animals are real individuals. They don't think animals feel, think, create. And this is what...
Seriously, I don't think I've ever said this before on YouTube or in public in any medium or form, but if I ever come across that guy, I'm gonna punch him. There are so many things that completely tear apart his entire argument left and right. The very first one is just the basic pathos Pathos is basically like the emotion, you know, your like your kind of soul, passion, basically. Is the passion in it. His is a very violent, aggravating, inflammatory kind of pathos. And just the very use of that at all, your entire argument is already taken apart. Bam! The second thing that I'm really pissed off about this video, he mentions the word many, many times, brainwashing. What kind of demented bullshit are you trying to push? You want to talk about brainwashing? Well, let me describe what I told you in 4-H. What I learned to be in 4-H. I don't know, how about every social skill ever? What I learned in 4-H was, first and foremost, ability to talk to people. Learning the ability to be able to hold meetings. Learning how to hold debates. Learning how to respect others. Learning how to use facts and evidence in order to make clear, concise decisions. Learning how to work in groups. Learning how to be a leader. And this kind of programmed brainwashing you're talking about, you seriously must be one sick puppy. This brainwashing idea of just programming kids about how to do this, that, and the other, it's completely full of You're telling me that 4-H is just the brainwashing organization. Then why do kids that go through 4-H learn more things about how to be a responsible adult than most adults know? In fact, I have articles to share. I have something. Exhibit A. The most important thing you can learn as an adult is how to keep track of your information. The record book. Now this contains everything I've done in my 9 years of 4-H, and I'm just going to read off just a few of these, just for an example. For you know, the guy, vegan news, you completely fat cred. I'm going to show you exactly what I learned from 4-H. You worked all year on this. Every single time in this record book, you literally list everything you've ever done in the entire year. Volunteer stuff, your club meetings, your project meetings, every awards you've won. And in fact, I actually have so many awards and certificates of participation and all that kind of stuff. I have a second equally big book of just past awards and stuff I've gotten. Now this is the most complicated thing I've ever done and the most important skill I've learned in 4-H about how to keep accurate records. Seriously, most adults don't have any idea to understand large amounts of numbers, how to deal with the records, how to accurately report, how to take criticism. Most adults don't even know a tenth of the things that 4-H kids have learned. Here, so I have completed 45 4-H projects, 58 4-H project skill activities, attended 106 events, 61 opportunities in leadership development, 74 citizenship and community service, 107 communication skills credits, 70 honors and recognitions, and 47 credits for lifestyle activities. And that was before I became an adult. I want you to think about that for a second. I did everything. I made short films. I led projects. I was president of my club for a little bit. The 4-H hat. This is our kind of our more valuable possessions. Sorry, so whited out. But like this over here is the years and the different kind. All these stripes are different years and the kind of member. Whether and also the color stripe inside changes if you're an officer or if you're a senior. Like these. There are 4 greens or for junior members. White rings out here means you're a senior member, and white with yellow means you're a senior and an officer. So I was in 4-H for 9 years. I was a recreation officer, a treasurer, a vice president, a president of a club, and in my 8th year, I earned the rank of All-Star, which is this star here, because there's different levels of gold, silver, the bronze, silver, gold, platinum. And above that, and with all these stars are placed here, that's your rank in 4-H. And of course, the ranks are just for your personal growth, and that is not a competition. Most of 4-H, there's not a lot of competitions amongst each other, with some exceptions. The competitions are mostly against yourself and about how to improve yourself. This one is not a gold, silver. It's not bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. This is an all-star. This is a county leadership position. In fact, this is the first real leadership position I've had over a large group of people. I was the highest ranking youth. I was one of the few. I think the year I was an all-star, there were 4 other members, or all girls. So one guy, 4 girls. You're supposed to be pretty good odds, but no, that didn't work out that way. All-Star, you're the highest youth rank at the county level. You are working directly with the Leaders Council of the county you're in. You're the master ceremony for different kind of events. You come up with new county events for the kids to participate in. You act as a representative of the county level to other counties. You go to other clubs and install their officers at the beginning of the years. There are so many dudes that can come in there, and it serves as an example of what youth can be. Again, it's all about setting examples of leadership. I was 16 years old when I became an all-star. I was 16 years old, and I was already a county level leader for youth. Of course, there are the adult leaders who we reported to, and they helped us in return. By the county level among the youth, I earned the highest rank possible, and this was one of the. And the experience I got, the leadership experience I got from that, set the tone for my leadership, my independence, holding up the criticisms, being able to stand up for myself. All the important things about what makes a strong person. Everything I've learned came from my year in service as an all-star. All the leadership stuff, all the character of all my specific leadership characteristics that I have as an adult, up to now, and will probably last for decades in the future. All that knowledge and experience came from being an all-star. And all these other pins up here are all different kinds of and all these pins and patches and buttons. I mean, I've been to presentation days, and that was one of the things that you learn. One of the best things you can learn 4-H, public speaking. For adults, it is still one of the hardest challenges to overcome. And yet, when you're in 4-H for long enough, and in fact, you have to do public speaking as part of the requirements for your record book. Like if you want to get certain awards, or advance in rank for the star ranks, you really need to. You need to do so many presentations. Public speaking is the most important skill I've ever learned in my entire life, and it came again from 4-H. This public speaking experience, this is literally like among the top 10 things that people are afraid of in life. Public speaking is very high on the list, and yet you're literally learning this from like 6 or 7 years old. And some kids learn from even younger. And of course, by the time they leave 4-H, they've been doing presentations for like 10 years. Like when I went to colleges, and the first college I went to was Chabot College. It was kind of like high school in terms of mentality that was there, but that's another story. So I went there, and one of the things that are very difficult for people to learn but are required are public speaking. Of course, coming there to 4-H, I already had 10 years of experience, and I was barely 18. And yet I was able to get up there. I was able to speak with confidence. You cannot undermine the importance of being able to speak in public. And I think our current commander-in-chief needs to take a lesson from that. So there are so many things, important things that it teaches you. It teaches you how to be a leader. It teaches you how to do presentations. I learned how to do a job interview in 4-H. I learned how to do a job interview in 4-H. The critical cornerstone skills of every adult ever that an adult needs to have, I learned it from 4-H. And talking about public speaking, I have done 30 under the 107 communication skill credits I have. I have 30 of them are presentations. I have done presentations for both county and sectional and state presentation days, for state fairs, and the public outreach, public and events. I did them 30 times over my 9 years of 4-H. And seriously, if you can have even half that many presentations in that time span, you're going to be a very good public speaker. And of course, all the kids from 4-H are exceptional public speakers because they have to do so much for this. And there are just years and years and years of stuff that I have. There is just, if you look at the record book, it was when I was applying to colleges, I showed them my record book because it showed them what I was doing, what I was learning, important things that I was doing as a kid. This kind of stuff is probably some of the best childhood development. Like basically here, if you look at this stuff right here, or look through any 4-Hers record manual. If you look through any 4-Hers members record, you're going to see this basically is a perfect guide to childhood development. Going back to the video, this guy showed me very aggravating pictures of kids crying over their animals, but I don't think he understands this. Part of raising the animal is learning about responsibility. It's learning how to dedicate thousands of hours of taking care of your animals. It is learning proper ethics. And it includes all the way up to the slaughter, knowing how to say goodbye. And a lot of people, like vegan, crazy vegans, get really pissed off. But it's irrelevant. Because in that, you know, when your animal is bought and it's going to be taken for slaughter, if you choose to. Now, not all of them are meat auctions. Some of them are just for show and then they take back home every year. Some of them are going to be auctioned. The thing about these loans, which you think it's less of a gotcha little moment. No, it's not. These are very specific requirements. They're very well supported, and no one goes bankrupt or, you know, loses a credit score through 4-H. That stuff is just bullshit. Of course, there are those moments, you know, as shown by the tugging on your heartstrings pictures, where the kids have to say goodbye. Now, this may be some. Now, this is one. I think this is one of his arguments about, you know, breaking children's hearts. No, this is actually teaching them the most important childhood development skill: learning how to let go. You have to understand that 4-H teaches you a bunch of life skills. You know, teaches you how to work with people and be teamwork, how to be responsible. But the thing with the animal specifically, there's another important lesson about, you know, that's in life, things are gonna disappear. You know, things the people and, you know, animals you care about, your pets, they're not gonna be around forever. And learning how to let go of stuff, and learning how to deal with letting go of something really close to you, like those kids that work in the animals. That, yeah, some of the kids are gonna cry, of course, because they know the animals so long, and now they know exactly where they're going. They're gonna be going after a knife, and the kid understands that. But in that moment of letting their animals go, they're learning how to deal with death. In teaching the kid how to deal with death, it might sound like a morbid subject for 4-H, but learning how to let, because, you know, when your livestock animal or pet dies or someone close to you dies, you have to let go of that. Teaching a kid how to do that is one of the hardest lessons to teach, and one of the most important ones. But through this process here, 4-H is literally teaching kids how to deal with death and be able to move on and be strong about it. How many other organizations do you know that can teach a kid how to deal with that? And they do it on purpose, because, you know, when you're raising the animals, you have to, you know, obviously they're going to meet some of them in you know, if they're going to be auctioned off, you know, their final ends. And so here's the thing, you know, when the meat eaters or omnivores, do not think that we're violently killing animals just for some sick pleasure. I mean, you're fucking crazy. And I will never ever go vegan or even vegetarian. I need my meat. And of course, when I go for my meat, I know that I am not going, like, if I'm going to be, you know, if I become a farmer one day, some random life, or my next incarnation, or I go hunting or whatever, of course, I want my meat to be treated ethically. I want my meat treated ethically. I do not want to go. I'm not going out and buying meat from animals that I know were brutally killed painfully. No, I'm not going for those. And again, 4-H, the quality of 4-H meats are far much better than anything else you'll find in almost any supermarket or supermarket chain store. So you're teaching these kids leadership skills. You're teaching them how to get on with people. You're teaching, like, for the livestock kids or the animals that are going to go off to the butchers. You're teaching them how to deal with debt, and teach them how to deal with loss, and learning how to let go of stuff. One of the most critical childhood development skills ever. And for me personally, let me tell you what I learned. My club was a homeschool club, which was a more urban club. We had more science, engineering, technology kind of projects, creative writing. In fact, some of my really fun ones. Just looking through this real quick. And all the stuff that I learned through 4-H, and I put this in my opening statement for my last year. These are the opening, like, kind of cover letters. There's a summary of your experiences of that year written out. Also showing your ability to communicate effectively and being able to make proper sentences and being able to. And this, if 4-H teach, among the many things 4-H is teaching you how to write properly, you would not believe how many adults in the work industry that obviously involve a lot of writing don't know how to write effectively. The very last sentence in this opening cover piece for the 2012 to 13 year, my last year in 4-H, was that thanks to 4-H, I will always be a smarter, brighter, better person for as long as I walk the surface of the world. And I totally, completely mean that. I would not be a good person, any kind of good person, were it not for 4-H. 4-H taught me how to be a respectable, strong, good, helping person. I wouldn't have changed any of it. There were times that were very stressful, yes, but I never wanted to change anything because it may have sucked at times. But those are the lessons to be learned in those tough moments. And just looking at the American book, I remember bringing up things like, you know, we go to Fenton's for public outreach. We were packing for Kids Against Hunger. We were having end of the year carnivals where we had all of the games. We were selling cake at the Alameda County Cake booth, which, by the way, if you're ever going to the Alameda County Fair, you need to go to the cake booth. There are many calories, but they do not count as is for the children. And I was an all-star zoning officers. I was making some of my projects. I was making films. I was doing filmmaking, which is carried on today. And just looking back in there, I am so pleased that I've done so much. I learned how to write reports. I learned how to talk to kids and learned how to talk to respectable adults. And I learned from that years later how to be a respectable adult. 4-H literally is probably the best version, probably one of the best parts of my life, and I never would change it. You learn job interviews. You're learning how to get along with people. You're learning how to work as a team. You're learning how to be punctual. You learn just everything you need to learn to be a responsible adult. It's in 4-H. You can't call it a brainwashing organization. It's one of the best organizations that ever existed. First of all of my social skills I've ever learned in life came from 4-H. Both homeschoolers, public schools, private schools, charter school kids, all sorts of kids were there, and some of them were from other cultures. Some of them were from many different kinds of racial or ethnic backgrounds. Some of them had other mental health stuff going on. Others had other issues to deal with. But no matter what issues that the kid had, or where they came from, or whatever, if they were normal or not normal, it didn't matter. You're all in the same club. You're all in the same family. You're all in the same family, and you all take care of each other. And I remember back in the club where I was in, there were a few kids that there was clearly something off with them. They weren't threatening, but there was just something off with them. And even the little kids noticed it. And what do? We just took care of them like we did anyone else. You take care of each other. It's the first the first unofficial rule in 4-H, but it's ingrained in every single 4-H'er, is you take care of each other. It's the number one rule. You take care of each other. You are not brainwashed by some kind of state. You're being taught how to take care of other people. You're telling me an organization is brainwashing you because it teaches you how to take care of other people? Are you out of your mind? I mean, through 4-H, I learned how to lead people at a county level position and still be a fun person. In 4-H, I learned how to do public speaking, and I got so many gold medals. In 4-H, I learned how to do presentations, and I learned how to do so many of them that I just hit the ball out of the park in terms of numbers. In 4-H, I've met some of the best friends I've ever had, and it was through 4-H even that I met my first girlfriend. I learned that a group of people is always going to have different decisions, but there are ways in which you can combine your efforts in order to make good on entire groups' conflicting decisions. You learn how to mediate, you learn how to be respectable, you learn how to take care of people. That's the most important thing that 4-H does, and it teaches you. Do what you can teach others. Learn how to take care of people. Why is that supposed to be so brainwashing and so demonized? You learn how to take care of people. This whole world is full of because the world doesn't take care of each other. The people in the world don't always take care of each other. 4-H is one of the places where you learn how to take care of each other. You learn how to deal with stuff. In 4-H, through group games, like cross the line if you've ever fallen off a bike, for example, and then the game will change to something a little deeper, and in there you might learn stuff about other people that you didn't know, and it gives you new perspective. I've said this in so many videos. Perspective changes your world. It may not change the entire world, but it changes yours. You'll learn how to be open with people. You'll understand that when you learn something very new, like when I learned that some of my friends have been in some pretty tragic stuff through 4-H. I learned when it's okay to ask them about it, when it's going to back off, or when it's okay to just give them a hug and tell them everything and tell them that you're going to be there for them. I don't think I would have been a very good person if it wasn't for 4-H. And to all the 4-H'ers out there, to everybody that I've met in 4-H, all the people that have helped me, the people that taught me important stuff and lessons in life, learn how to let go of stuff, the people who are supporting me through my career in 4-H, to all my fellow all-stars, which I know you guys are probably out there and probably all over the internet, because you guys are probably going to be more famous than I ever hope to be. Just everyone I've met through 4-H and for all the things I've learned, Seriously, 4-H, thanks for all the help, because without you, I'm not sure I would like the person. If I didn't have 4-H in my life, what that person would become. And 4-H, I just want to say thank you. You don't understand how much I appreciate 4-H. If you took 4-H out of my life in some alternate reality, and that person would have ended up today, I'm not sure I would like that person. I would hate that person if I didn't have 4-H in my life. Literally, are changing kids' lives. So thank you. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Go ahead and go to BT Devil, give him a big hug. Go give me a big hug. Follow us on all social media, all down below. As always, in the case of an emergency or dealing with crazy vegans who have no idea what they're talking about, you must place a mask under your seat, over your head, to hide your terrifying expression from the other passengers, and to also give a big old hug to your farmyard animals. Viewer discretion is advised. Batteries are not included. Stupid people, you are not given a ticket. Oh! So I will see all of you guys in the next video.